Episode 636. This time, Chen Guo was genuinely contemptuous. Textbooks, idol worship, the great Yi Chu, none of it could stop Chen Guo from looking down on Yi Shu in that moment. Peeking at someone else's screen, how trashy is that? On an online platform, you might not even get the chance to peek, but this is Chen Guo's internet cafe, and that kind of behavior is everywhere. A few friends would sit together playing Glory, all of them shifty-eyed, sneaking glances left and right. Watching this, Chen Guo had only one thought: sleazy, extremely sleazy. Following a god out here to scavenge all day, Chen Guo already thought that was shady enough. And now, watching this shameless display, Chen Guo really couldn't take it anymore. To win, Ye Shu really stops at nothing.
You have no shame.
Chen Guo wasn't afraid of disturbing Ye Shu anymore. She leaned in and shouted right into his ear.
Hey, don't move around, you're blocking the screen.
Ye Shu was still watching Chen Guo's screen. Chen Guo decisively yanked her mouse, snapping her view to the other side.
Cheater, cheater.
Chen Guo kept up the accusations, even roping Tang Ru into it.
Pimp. Isn't that just shameless?
Is that so?
Tang Ru was actually confused. Chen Guo was deeply worried. Tang Ru was a complete rookie in Glory, and she had been far too careless, just letting her tag along with Ye Shu like that, without ever instilling a proper sense of right and wrong in the game. Tang Ru didn't seem to mind such shameless, underhanded behavior either.
Peeking at someone else's screen. How immoral is that?
Chen Guo wanted to quickly lead Tang Ru back to the Ghost Blade.
You've got one too, haven't you?
That was just everyone having fun. What's the big deal?
And this isn't playing?
Chen Guo was stunned for a moment. After thinking it over quietly, she realized that she had been the one in the wrong all along. All along, she had been projecting her own idealized image of a top-tier pro onto Yi Shu. Sneaking a peek at someone else's screen, if someone else did it, or even if she did it herself, she'd think it was no big deal. As long as he didn't resort to such cheap tricks in formal matches, it was fine. But when it came to Yi Shu, she always expected him to be the perfect god-tier player she had in mind. So whenever Yi Shu did something like this, Chen Guo couldn't stand it. In other words, she cared more about the image of a pro player than Yi Shu himself did. Was she being too demanding? Chen Guo suddenly thought of celebrities in other fields. Mistakes that would happen frequently to ordinary people, but once they involved public figures, they were endlessly magnified, magnified, and magnified again. Public figures seem to have so much responsibility forced on them by society. Could this be part of why Yi Shu has always stayed behind the scenes? Was he just trying to avoid being twisted under the spotlight into doing things he didn't want to do? Chen Guo thought this, but silently turned her gaze back, refocusing on the two entangled figures.
Hey.
Chen Guo called out to Ye Shu, giving him the go-ahead to take a look. Yi Shu acknowledged with a grunt, then immediately turned back to look, his expression showing not the slightest hint of shame at the matter, which nearly made Chen Guo flare up again.
Restraint, patience. It's just like usual. We're only playing a game. Think about it. If we were in a guild team fight and I saw an opportunity like that right next to me, I probably wouldn't pass it up either.
Chen Guo kept reminding herself.
That little trick of yours won't work.
Chen Guo heard Ye Shu say that to Deception again, and she was this close to smashing her computer over his head. So the opponent's move didn't work, but how exactly did it fail? Isn't that you peeking at someone else's screen? I could overlook you peeking at my screen, but do you have to be so smug about it? Is this really such a glorious, praiseworthy tactic? As he spoke, Deception rolled to the side, then whipped his arm back. The rope in his hand went taut, and the ninja sword transformed into a flying blade, its reach extended and still retrievable. On Yi Shu's end, Lord Grimm sidestepped, swung his sword, and clicked the mouse precisely onto the flying kunai, deflecting the strike with a single blow. That was undeniably a slick, impressive move. On any other day, Chen Guo would have been starry-eyed. But now, she held back the urge to cheer. With this strike, deception once again widened the gap between them. After fighting for so long, Deception had come to understand that getting this far away from his opponent was already a decent result. This was already a good chance to escape. Deception spun to flee, but a flash of cold steel, Lord Grimm's sword, was already on him. But Deception had already calculated the reach of his opponent's weapon. He could only attack by throwing his kunai. With just the length of a sword, this strike couldn't possibly reach him. Who would have thought? He was certain it couldn't reach, yet that sword light flashed right before his eyes. Deception took a closer look, only to realize that the opponent's sword had also been thrown from their hand. Deception was completely baffled. What kind of attack was that? His ninja sword was tied to a long rope so he could reel it back. That's the only reason this worked. You could use a normal weapon that way, sure, but the moment it leaves your hand, you've basically thrown it away. To throw away a weapon for a single, not that impressive self-destruct attack, Deception couldn't understand it, but he didn't want to miss out either. As a scavenger, seeing something and picking it up is basic professional ethics. Deception swung his blade down, the same move Yi Shu had just made. He planned to knock the sword to the ground and then pick it up. But then he saw that after throwing the sword, the guy's hand didn't stop. It kept coming straight at him, already holding some other random object. What's he trying to do? In Deception's days, the ninja blade had already clashed against the sword, a sharp ring, and then a faint crack. Something on the other end seemed to click onto the blade, and then, the sword he'd struck didn't fall. It kept driving straight forward. Deception had no time to dodge again. The strike landed cleanly, but a quick glance at his health bar showed the damage was minimal. He was about to backstep and keep slashing when suddenly his own character was launched into the air. After a dizzying spin, he slammed headfirst into the ground.
Circle swing?
Deception cried out in shock.
Yeah. What exactly is your profession? And what the hell is that weapon of yours?
That stiff tone of his could actually speak pretty fast.
Are you always this slow on the uptake?
Yi Shu froze. By now, Deception had clearly already checked Lord Grimm's stats.
Level 52, no class.
Yi Shu was surprised. He'd assumed the other already knew.
Astonished, the weapon has no stats. This is a silver weapon.
Dude, don't you watch the news?
Yi Shu was stunned. He stared blankly, exchanging a look with Chen Guo. Chasing Haze, Chen Guo's character was right nearby, and she naturally overheard their exchange. Clearly, this Deception had no idea who Lord Grimm was.
What news?
Deception finally asked the question.
Bro's been pretty hot lately. I'm genuinely surprised there's a glory player who doesn't know me.
Chen Guo was speechless. That kind of introduction would sound better coming from someone else. Even with a thick skin, talking about yourself like that has to be a little embarrassing. Though, all of that was indeed true.
Who are you?
Deception was just asking that when a sudden chorus of shouts erupted in the distance.
Over there!
So they were in cahoots all along.
Don't let them escape!
They're over there, right there, over there.
I saw them.
Over there!
Yi Shu quickly spun his view around. The three guilds were charging in from every direction. His tangle with Deception had dragged on far too long. The three major guilds were in chaos at first, but as time dragged on, they finally realized Lord Grimm had stirred them into a pointless free-for-all.